Bringing timeless Buddhist principles to everyday life, we explore mindfulness, compassion, and self-awareness in a modern context. By connecting ancient wisdom to today's challenges, we guide you toward inner peace, clarity, and resilience. Welcome to Radiant Wisdom.
Hello and welcome to Radiant Wisdom, where we explore life's complexities and uncover practical steps to lead a more mindful and fulfilling existence. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend a little time with me today because the topic we're discussing is one that touches all of us at some point in our lives: laziness. Now, before we dive in, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt stuck, like there's so much you want to do, but instead you find yourself scrolling endlessly, lying in bed, or just avoiding the things you know would truly make you happy? Don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, this is a struggle that millions of people experience every single day, no matter their background, ambitions, or goals. Laziness, as we often call it, isn't just about being idle. It's a complex web of habits, emotions, and sometimes even fears. Here at Radiant Wisdom, our goal isn't to judge or label anyone. Instead, we're here to dig deeper, to understand the root causes of these behaviors, and to provide meaningful insights and tools you can use to break free from the patterns holding you back. Whether you're someone who struggles with motivation, battles procrastination, or simply feels weighed down by the overwhelming pace of life, this conversation is for you. But before we get started, let's take a moment to reflect. What brought you here today? Maybe you've been feeling unmotivated lately. Or perhaps you're just curious to learn more about the psychology of laziness and how it affects our lives. Whatever the reason, know that by clicking on this video, you've already taken the first step toward understanding and growth. If you find this topic helpful or if it sparks a moment of clarity, please consider supporting our community here at Radiant Wisdom by liking this video, sharing it with a friend who might benefit, and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us reach more people and continue creating content that uplifts, educates, and inspires. And here's one more thing, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, let me know what's one thing you've been putting off lately, and what small step could you take today to get started? Your insights and experiences might just inspire someone else on their journey. Now let's set the stage for today's discussion. Laziness is a word that's often thrown around casually, sometimes as an insult, other times as a self-deprecating joke. But what does it really mean, and why is it so pervasive? You see, laziness isn't just about not doing anything. It's a behavior rooted in our instinct to seek comfort and avoid pain. It's influenced by our environment, our habits, and even our emotions. And while it might feel harmless in the moment, over time it can become a significant barrier to living the life we truly want. But here's the good news. Laziness isn't permanent. It's not a fixed part of who you are. With the right mindset, tools, and support, it's something you can overcome. Together we're going to unpack this concept, explore why it shows up in our lives, and most importantly, discover practical steps to shift from inaction to purpose-driven momentum. So, if you're ready to peel back the layers and take that first step toward a more energized, intentional life, stay tuned. This is going to be a deep dive not just into the nature of laziness, but into the incredible potential that lies on the other side of it. Let's begin. The comfort trap. Let's start with a fundamental truth. As human beings, we are biologically wired to seek comfort. It's in our DNA. Comfort represents safety, security, and survival. Think about it. Our ancestors sought shelter, warmth, and food to protect themselves from the harshness of the natural world. That instinct, while less critical in today's modern world, still operates at full force in our minds and bodies. It's why we instinctively gravitate toward the path of least resistance, even when it's not necessarily good for us. But here's the challenge. Comfort, while alluring, can also be a trap. It whispers to us, stay where you are. Don't push too hard. You're fine as you are, and in many ways it's not wrong. We are fine, at least in the short term. Staying in our comfort zones feels safe and pleasant. It requires no risk, no discomfort, and no effort. Yet over time, this same comfort begins to stagnate us. What starts as a desire for rest can quickly evolve into patterns of procrastination, avoidance, and what we often label as laziness. Let me give you an example. Imagine a cozy warm bed on a cold winter morning. The thought of getting up and facing the day feels almost unbearable. The bed feels so much better than the cold, unwelcoming air outside. But if you don't get up, what happens? Maybe you're late for work. Maybe you skip your morning workout. Maybe your plans for the day start slipping away. All because the comfort of the bed was too enticing to leave. This is the comfort trap in action. It keeps us tethered to the familiar, even at the cost of our growth and responsibilities. The same applies to bigger areas of life. Think about how often we avoid challenges because they feel uncomfortable. Maybe you've avoided learning a new skill because you're afraid of failing. Or perhaps you've delayed having a difficult conversation with a friend or partner because it feels awkward or emotionally draining. These decisions, small as they seem in the moment, accumulate over time. They create a pattern, a cycle of choosing comfort over growth. And that cycle can hold us back from achieving our full potential. But why does this happen? Why does comfort have such a strong grip on us? The answer lies in how our brains are wired. When we do something that feels good, like lounging on the couch, eating a favorite snack, or scrolling through social media, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. This reinforces the behavior, encouraging us to seek out those same activities again and again. Over time, this creates habits that prioritize short-term pleasure over long-term fulfillment. The problem with the comfort trap is that it's a false promise. It offers immediate gratification, but it doesn't address our deeper needs. True happiness, true fulfillment, comes from growth, from pushing past our limits, trying new things, and overcoming challenges. These experiences might feel uncomfortable or even painful at first, but they lead to a sense of accomplishment and purpose that comfort alone can never provide. So how do we escape the comfort trap? The first step is awareness. Start by recognizing when you're choosing comfort over growth. Ask yourself, is this truly what I need right now, or am I avoiding something more important? Then, take small steps to challenge yourself. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Maybe it's as simple as getting out of bed 10 minutes earlier, tackling one small item on your to-do list, or saying yes to an opportunity that scares you just a little. Remember, comfort isn't inherently bad. Rest and relaxation are essential parts of a balanced life. But when comfort becomes our default, when it keeps us from pursuing our goals or living authentically, it's time to reevaluate. True growth lies just beyond the edge of what feels comfortable. And the good news? Every time you step out of your comfort zone, no matter how small the step, you expand what's possible for your life. The comfort trap might be tempting, but it's not unbeatable. By choosing growth, even in the face of discomfort, you can free yourself from its grip and step into a life that feels richer, more vibrant, and infinitely more fulfilling. The illusion of endless time. Time is our most precious resource, yet it's also the one we tend to take for granted the most. There's something about the way we experience time that tricks us into thinking we have more of it than we actually do. Days stretch into weeks, weeks into months, and before we know it, years have slipped through our fingers. This is what I like to call the illusion of endless time, a deceptive belief that keeps us stuck in patterns of procrastination and inaction. Why does this happen? For one, time feels abstract. Unlike money, energy, or other tangible resources, time can't be saved, stored, or even truly seen. It's invisible, always moving forward, and we have no way of knowing how much of it we have left. This makes it easy to treat time as if it's infinite, even though we know deep down that it's not. Have you ever told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," or perhaps, "Next week is when I'll finally get serious about my goals"? It's comforting to think that tomorrow will offer a fresh start, a blank slate where all the things we put off today will finally get done. But here's the harsh truth: tomorrow is never guaranteed. It's always just a concept, a promise we make to ourselves to delay what could, and perhaps should, be done today. The illusion of endless time feeds into this cycle of procrastination. It gives us permission to put things off, to take our days for granted, and to postpone the hard but meaningful work of building the life we truly want. But when we fall into this trap, we risk waking up one day and realizing that all those tomorrows we were counting on have run out. Let me share a story to illustrate this. There was a man who always dreamed of starting his own business. For years he told himself, "I'll do it when the timing is right." He waited for the perfect conditions, a better economy, more savings, a little more free time. But life kept happening. Work got busier, family responsibilities grew, and his health began to decline. Eventually he reached retirement age, and his dream of starting a business was still just that, a dream. Looking back, he realized that the perfect time never existed. The conditions he had been waiting for were just an illusion. The truth was, he could have started small, taken incremental steps, and built his dream over time. But he let the illusion of endless time rob him of that opportunity. This story is a reminder to all of us. Life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, now. The clock is always ticking, and the time to act is never as far away as we think. So how can we break free from this illusion? It starts with shifting our perspective on time. Instead of seeing it as something we have plenty of, treat it as the rare and finite resource that it is. Think of each day as a gift, a chance to move one step closer to your goals and dreams. Next, prioritize what truly matters. Life is full of distractions: emails, social media, endless to-do lists. But not everything is equally important. Ask yourself, if I only had 1 year left to live, what would I focus on? What would I regret not doing? Let those answers guide your actions. Finally, practice taking immediate, imperfect action. You don't need to have it all figured out before you start. Just begin. Write the first sentence, make the first call, take the first step. It's better to do something small today than to plan for something grand tomorrow that might never happen. Remember, time is not on pause. It's always moving, always flowing. And while we can't control how much of it we have, we can control how we use it. Don't let the illusion of endless time keep you from living the life you were meant to live. The moment to act is not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's now. The weight of overwhelm. Have you ever looked at your to-do list and felt like it was suffocating you? Maybe it wasn't even a physical list, just a mental inventory of all the things you need to do, want to do, or think you should do. The sheer weight of it all can feel paralyzing. This is the weight of overwhelm, and it's one of the most common culprits behind inaction and what we often mistake for laziness. Overwhelm has a sneaky way of creeping into our lives. It starts small, an unfinished project here, a commitment there, but over time these tasks pile up. Soon it feels like you're carrying a mountain on your shoulders, and instead of tackling it, your brain does what it's wired to do when faced with too much: it freezes. You scroll through social media, binge watch your favorite show, or simply avoid thinking about your responsibilities altogether. But the more you delay, the heavier that mountain grows. Why does overwhelm feel so crushing? Part of the problem lies in our modern world. We live in a society that glorifies busyness. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to hustle, achieve, and do more. Social media feeds only add to the pressure, showing us curated glimpses of others seemingly juggling careers, families, hobbies, and personal growth with ease. This creates an unrealistic standard that makes us feel inadequate by comparison. But here's the thing: overwhelm isn't just about the number of tasks on your plate. It's about how you perceive them. When everything feels urgent and important, your brain struggles to prioritize. Tasks that could be handled with ease if approached one at a time suddenly seem insurmountable when viewed as a collective whole. It's like trying to drink an entire ocean in one gulp. It's impossible, and the mere thought of attempting it can leave you feeling hopeless. So how do we break free from the weight of overwhelm? The first step is to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing your tasks as one giant looming burden, try breaking them down into smaller, more manageable pieces. Imagine you're facing a brick wall. You don't have to knock it down all at once. You only need to remove one brick at a time. Start with what's most important or time-sensitive. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that will make tomorrow easier? Focus on that task and give yourself permission to set everything else aside, at least for now. Remember, you don't have to do everything, you just have to do something. Next, practice the art of saying no. Overwhelm often comes from overcommitment. It's easy to say yes to requests, invitations, and opportunities, especially if you don't want to disappoint others. But every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, often your own well-being. Set boundaries and prioritize your own needs. Saying no isn't selfish, it's essential. Another powerful strategy is to let go of perfectionism. Sometimes, overwhelm comes from holding ourselves to impossibly high standards. We feel like we can't start a task unless we're sure we can do it perfectly, but perfection is an illusion and waiting for it will only keep you stuck. Instead, aim for progress over perfection. Even a flawed effort is better than no effort at all. Finally, don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's delegating tasks, seeking advice, or simply venting to a trusted friend. Reaching out can lighten your load and remind you that you're not alone. We're not meant to carry everything by ourselves. The weight of overwhelm can feel crushing, but it doesn't have to define you. By breaking tasks into smaller steps, setting boundaries, and focusing on progress over perfection, you can lift that weight and move forward with clarity and purpose. Remember, the mountain in front of you is not as immovable as it seems. All it takes is one step, one small action to begin shifting it. And once you do, you'll realize that you're stronger than you think and capable of far more than you ever imagined. The cost of laziness. Laziness might feel harmless in the moment, a skipped workout, a delayed project, or an extra hour spent scrolling through your phone. But like a slow leak in a dam, its effects accumulate over time, and the cost of laziness can become more significant than we often realize. What seems like a small indulgence today may, in the long run, lead to missed opportunities, strained relationships, and an unfulfilled life. Let's start with the most immediate cost: wasted time. Time is the one resource we can never get back. Once it's gone for good. When we give in to laziness, we lose precious moments that could have been spent building skills, nurturing relationships, or pursuing passions. Imagine if you had spent the last 5 years consistently working toward a goal. How different would your life look today? The realization that time has been lost is often accompanied by regret, which is one of the heaviest emotional burdens we can carry. Another cost of laziness is its impact on our self-esteem. Every time we put off an important task or fail to follow through on a commitment, we chip away at our confidence. We begin to doubt our own capabilities, seeing ourselves as unreliable or incapable of achieving what we desire. This negative self-perception can spiral, making it even harder to muster the motivation to act. It's a vicious cycle. Laziness feeds low self-esteem, and low self-esteem feeds more laziness. Laziness also comes with a financial cost. When we procrastinate or fail to put in consistent effort, we may miss out on career opportunities, promotions, or advancements that require initiative and discipline. Imagine a talented professional who has the skills to excel but lacks the drive to take the necessary steps. Their potential goes untapped, and over time they may find themselves stuck in a role that doesn't align with their aspirations or provide financial security. In this way, laziness can hold us back not only personally but also professionally. The cost isn't just personal, it often extends to our relationships. Laziness can manifest as neglect, not making the effort to maintain friendships, invest time in a romantic partner, or show up for family members. Over time, this neglect can create distance, erode trust, and strain the connections that matter most. Relationships require effort to thrive, and laziness can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, or even abandonment on the part of those we care about. On a broader level, laziness can hinder our ability to contribute meaningfully to the world around us. Each of us has unique talents, perspectives, and abilities to share, but laziness keeps those gifts locked away. Think of all the incredible inventions, works of art, and acts of kindness that never came to be because someone decided to delay, give up, or stay in their comfort zone. When we choose laziness over action, we not only limit our own potential, but also deprive others of what we could have offered. It's also important to acknowledge the physical cost of laziness. A sedentary lifestyle, often fueled by procrastination or avoidance, can lead to health issues such as obesity, heart disease, and decreased mental well-being. Small choices like skipping exercise or opting for convenience over nutritious meals add up over time, leading to consequences that affect both the length and quality of our lives. Finally, laziness comes at the cost of fulfillment. True happiness doesn't come from endless relaxation or avoidance of effort. It comes from growth, achievement, and meaningful connections. Laziness, by its nature, keeps us from engaging fully with life. It robs us of the satisfaction that comes from overcoming challenges, creating something of value, or simply knowing we've done our best. So, what's the solution? It starts with recognizing that the cost of laziness isn't worth the fleeting comfort it provides. Each time you feel tempted to delay or avoid, ask yourself, what will this cost me in the long run? Is this momentary ease worth the potential regret, missed opportunity, or damage to my self-esteem? By shifting your perspective and taking even small steps toward action, you can begin to reclaim the time, confidence, and fulfillment that laziness threatens to take away. Remember, the greatest rewards in life come from effort. And while effort requires energy and discipline, its payoff, both in the short and long term, is always worth it. Breaking free: the power of small steps. Breaking free from laziness doesn't require a dramatic overhaul of your life. It doesn't demand an immediate leap from inaction to perfection. Instead, it begins with one small, simple step, and then another, and another. The power of small steps lies in their ability to create momentum, build confidence, and over time, transform your habits and your life. Why are small steps so effective? First, they're manageable. When you're overwhelmed by the thought of tackling a massive goal or breaking a long-standing habit, it's easy to feel paralyzed. But a small step? That feels doable. It's much easier to say, I'll spend 5 minutes cleaning my desk, than to commit to decluttering your entire house. And once you've started, you often find that the momentum carries you further than you expected. Second, small steps allow you to bypass the mental resistance that often accompanies change. Our brains are wired to protect us from discomfort, and big, intimidating tasks can trigger fear or avoidance. By focusing on something small, something that doesn't feel overwhelming, you can ease past that resistance and start building a sense of accomplishment. Imagine this. You want to start exercising, but the idea of an hour-long workout feels impossible, so instead you commit to a 5-minute walk. That walk might seem insignificant, but it serves a critical purpose. It gets you moving, breaks the cycle of inaction, and proves to yourself that you can take action. Over time, those 5 minutes might grow into 10, 20, or even 30 minutes, and before you know it, you've built a consistent exercise habit. The same principle applies to any area of life. Want to write a book? Start with a single sentence. Want to improve your diet? Swap one unhealthy snack for a healthier option. Want to strengthen your relationships? Send a quick text to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. These small actions might not seem like much on their own, but they have a cumulative effect that can lead to profound changes over time. There's also something deeply psychological about small wins. Each time you complete a small task, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. This reinforces the behavior, making you more likely to take the next step. It's like building a staircase. Each step brings you closer to your goal, and the satisfaction of progress motivates you to keep climbing. Breaking free from laziness isn't just about taking action, it's about creating a new identity. With every small step, you're sending a message to yourself. I am someone who takes action. I am someone who follows through. This shift in self-perception is incredibly powerful because it reshapes how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of achieving. Of course, there will be days when even small steps feel difficult. That's okay. Progress isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. On those tough days, remind yourself that even the tiniest action is better than none at all. Maybe it's not about completing the whole task, but simply starting. Instead of cleaning the entire kitchen, wash one dish. Instead of writing a whole chapter, jot down one idea. Instead of skipping the day entirely, do something small. And don't underestimate the importance of celebrating those small wins. Acknowledge your effort, no matter how minor it may seem. Give yourself credit for showing up, for trying, for taking that first step. These moments of self-acknowledgement build confidence and create positive reinforcement that keeps you moving forward. Over time, those small steps add up to something remarkable. They form habits, build discipline, and pave the way for bigger achievements. What once felt impossible begins to feel natural, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be starts to close. So, if you're feeling stuck, remember this: you don't need to have it all figured out, and you don't need to do it all at once. Start small. Take one step, then another. Trust in the process, and know that every small action you take is a victory, because each one moves you closer to the life you want to live. Accountability and environment. When it comes to overcoming laziness, you don't have to do it alone. In fact, one of the most powerful tools you can use to break free from inaction is the support of others and the influence of your surroundings. Accountability and environment are two key factors that can either reinforce laziness or help you build the habits and momentum you need to thrive. Let's start with accountability. It's a simple but profound concept. When someone else knows about your goals, you're more likely to follow through. Why? Because we naturally care about how others perceive us. When we make a promise to someone, a friend, a family member, a coach, we feel a sense of obligation to keep our word. This external pressure can be a powerful motivator, especially when our internal drive is running low. Think about it. How many times have you skipped a workout when you were planning to go alone? Now compare that to how often you've skipped when you knew a friend was waiting for you at the gym. Just knowing that someone else is counting on you can be the difference between staying in bed and showing up. To leverage accountability, start by sharing your goals with someone you trust. It could be a friend, a partner, or even a colleague. Be specific about what you're trying to achieve and when you plan to achieve it. For example, instead of saying, "I want to exercise more," say, "I'm committing to a 30-minute walk every evening and I'll text you when I've done it." The clearer and more specific your goals, the easier it is for others to help hold you accountable. You can also take accountability a step further by joining a group or community. Whether it's a fitness class, a book club, or an online forum, being part of a group with shared goals creates a sense of camaraderie and mutual encouragement. When you see others showing up and putting in the effort, it inspires you to do the same. Now let's talk about environment. The spaces we inhabit have a profound effect on our behavior. A cluttered, disorganized environment can drain your energy and make even the smallest tasks feel overwhelming. On the other hand, a clean, well-organized space can create a sense of clarity and motivation. Start by assessing your physical environment. Is your workspace set up for productivity, or is it filled with distractions? Is your home conducive to relaxation and focus, or does it make you feel stressed and chaotic? Small changes, like decluttering your desk, creating a dedicated area for work, or adding natural light and plants to your space, can have a big impact on your mindset and energy levels. But environment isn't just about the physical space. It's also about the people you surround yourself with. If you're constantly around people who are unmotivated or negative, their attitudes can rub off on you. On the other hand, spending time with driven, optimistic individuals can inspire you to adopt similar habits and mindsets. Take a moment to reflect on the people in your life. Are they lifting you up or holding you back? While it's not always possible to completely avoid negative influences, you can make an effort to seek out and spend more time with those who inspire you. Find mentors, join communities, or build friendships with people who embody the qualities you want to cultivate in yourself. If you struggle to find these influences in your immediate circle, look for inspiration in books, podcasts, or online platforms. Sometimes simply hearing the stories of people who've overcome challenges similar to yours can provide the motivation you need to take action. Finally, remember that accountability and environment are tools, not guarantees. They can set you up for success, but ultimately, the effort must come from you. Use accountability to create external pressure and environment to reduce friction, but combine them with a commitment to take small, consistent steps every day. When you align your goals with the right support and surroundings, you create a powerful foundation for growth. Laziness loses its grip, and you gain the clarity, energy, and motivation to move forward. The journey might not always be easy, but with accountability and a supportive environment, you'll have the tools you need to keep going, no matter what. The lesson. As we wrap up this journey through the nature of laziness, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. Laziness isn't a fixed part of who we are. It's a habit, a state of mind, and often a response to deeper feelings of overwhelm, fear, or resistance. But the good news is this: habits can change, mindsets can shift, and we are capable of growth, no matter how stuck we might feel. We've explored the comfort trap, where the allure of ease keeps us from stepping into the challenges that lead to fulfillment. We've looked at the illusion of endless time, reminding us that the moments we have today are precious and fleeting. We've discussed the crushing weight of overwhelm, a common yet surmountable barrier to action. We've delved into the real cost of laziness, showing how it affects not just our productivity, but also our confidence, relationships, and overall well-being. And finally, we've uncovered the transformative power of small steps, accountability, and a supportive environment. All tools that can help us break free from inertia and move toward a life of purpose. But knowledge alone isn't enough. The most important step is what you choose to do next. You don't need to change everything overnight. You don't need to have a perfect plan or even perfect execution. All you need is the willingness to start. Take that first small step, no matter how insignificant it might seem, and let it build momentum. Maybe it's committing to waking up 10 minutes earlier tomorrow. Maybe it's tackling one small task you've been putting off. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who can help hold you accountable. Whatever it is, remember this: action creates change, and even the smallest action can be the start of something transformative. Here's a lesson to carry with you. Laziness isn't just about what you're avoiding, it's about what you're missing. Every moment spent in avoidance is a moment lost to the opportunities, growth, and joy that lie on the other side of effort. When we embrace discipline, when we take small, consistent steps toward our goals, we not only move closer to the life we want, we also reclaim our sense of self-worth and possibility. So, I invite you to make a commitment to yourself today. What is one small action you can take to move forward? Write it down, say it out loud, or share it in the comments below. Let this be the moment you decide to step out of your comfort zone, to confront your fears, and to take control of your time and energy. And as you go forward, remember that you're not alone. Radiant Wisdom is here to support you every step of the way. If this message resonated with you, please like this video, share it with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to create content that inspires growth, reflection, and positive change. I also encourage you to join the conversation in the comments. What has helped you overcome laziness in the past? What strategies have worked for you? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to find their own path forward. As we part ways today, let me leave you with one final thought. The life you want is waiting for you. It's not a distant dream, and it's not beyond your reach. It's built in the small moments, the small choices, and the small steps you take every day. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect plan. Just begin. Thank you for being here, for investing this time in yourself, and for allowing me to share this space with you. Until next time, be kind to yourself, embrace the journey, and remember, you are capable of far more than you know. This is Radiant Wisdom signing off. See you soon.